everyone, and welcome back here in my craft room and on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. I'm Kathy Champion and I welcome you. If you are new to my channel, kick your shoes off, put your feet up, and just enjoy the content. We have a great group of people here, and I'm sure that you will find yourself more than welcome. And if you're my returning favorites, thank you so much for being so faithful all of these years with me. I appreciate you so very much. Today we're going to be working on another project out of our new mini catalog. There are so many wonderful sets in here and so many different ways that we can use them. I'm going to turn over to page 43, and this is Notes of Nature, and we're going to be using the bundle. Now this set comes in a suite, and let me show you what the suite is. If you flip over one page to page 40 and 41, you will see the Nature Sweetness. It is a sweet collection. And what that amounts to is you get 2 stamp sets, 2 die sets. You get the ribbon, the embellishments, and the designer series paper. So we're going to be using some of the paper. We're going to be using the gems, and we're going to be using the Notes of Nature out of this today. So this is going to be the stamp set we're going to be kind of zeroing in on. But let me show you everything that we're going to be using. Here is the Notes of Nature. It's a beautiful, and I've got a die that I already have taken out for some die cutting. But this is such a cute, if you like Shabby Chic, you will love this because this will definitely give you that feel. And we're going to add a little gold, which is going to bring it up a notch. We're also going to be using a stamp set for my happy labels for my sentiment. And I want this one just to say just a note. Now, you could make this a birthday card, a thinking of you card. You could just simply stamp hello. This card, you can make it in so many different ways, using this very same layout and have something different. You'll see when I show you the layout. The 2 die sets, other die sets I'm going to use is the Stylish Shapes. We're going to be using next to the largest circle, and we're going to be using the longer small banner. We're also going to be using the Everyday Details, and you can see I have the larger one already out. That's the one we're going to use. So let me show you my sample, and this is it. And this is a shelf card, and I got my inspiration for this fold from Creative Moments by Jude. And it's a really cute card. I love the way it looks, and if you notice, it stands up. This will fold down like that for mailing, so it will fit in an A2 size envelope. It has a lot of detail. I put a lot in this little card, and we're going to go ahead and make that now. So what are we going to need to make this card happen? We are going to need, let me get my little bit of supplies here, and I went ahead and pre-cut some things I didn't. I did do a little coloring. We're going to pull everything out of our envelope, and let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to show you that we're going to need is we're going to need a piece of cardstock. Make sure you cut your cardstock in half first on the 11-inch side at 5.5, and then when you get this piece, you're going to cut it to 8 inches. So I need to trim this down because it is 8.5. We're going to trim this down to 8 inches, and we got some score marks on this one too that we're going to do. So let's go ahead, and you can do this in one or two ways. We know this is 8.5, so you can bring it 1/2 inch over here and trim it off that way, or if you prefer, you can open up your arm and line it up at the 8-inch line, which is right here, and you're still getting the same cut. You're still cutting off that 1/2 inch from this side. So there is your strip. This will be our card base. We're going to do a little bit of scoring before we go any further. So for that, I'm going to bring out my Simply Scored scoring tool, and I'm going to lay this in on the 8-inch side to the top, all the way up into the left-hand corner. And I'm going to take my stylus, and I need to score at 4 1/4. So we've got these little grooves that you can put your stylus in, so you always get a nice straight score line. We need 4 3/4. We're going to come over to 6 1/4 and 6 3/4. And we can take that off. That's all the scoring that we need to do. And here you're going to want to get your bone folder because we're going to do some folding. I'm going to start on that score line right here, and I'm going to fold that over and give it a good burnish. And then we're going to come to the next one and fold it over. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're keeping your edges nice and straight. So make sure from side to side right here, you're kind of holding that so that you're getting nice straight edges. That will matter when you start putting your card together. So then the next one is right here. And then the last score line is right there. Now all we're going to do is we're going to simply fold this over like that. We're going to put glue on this and we're going to fold it over. We're only going to put glue on this panel right here. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to put just on this panel right here. Make sure you come up around the edges. You just don't want it to come over that score line. And then all we're going to do is fold this over on it. Give it a good press. I'm going to do my little ironing things that I like to do. Just to get that glue all set. And then that piece is going to pop up just like that. And that's going to give us that shelf card. And you can see it looks like a shelf. Now, we could make this card in this direction or this direction. For what I'm doing today, it's going to be like this. So now we need, let's do a little bit of die cutting. Let's go ahead and get all of our die cutting done. So I got a piece of the Stippled Rose Designer Series paper. This is a free pack with a $50 order. And it's this piece that looks like the wild wheat. And it looks like it's been water brushed with color. And we're going to use this largest everyday detail. This is what the back looks like. And we're going to get our die cut machine and we're going to cut that out. We'll get all of my die cutting and my embossing done while we have the machine up here. So we've got quite a bit to take care of. So let's lay this in here. I'm going to put that in at a slight angle. That takes a little bit of the stress off of our plates and our die. So it doesn't crack and pop quite as bad when you put it in at an angle as it does when it goes in on a straight area. So this is what this piece looks like when you cut it. How cute is that? Now we're going to trim this down a little bit and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. And I came upon this design by accident. I had a piece where I did a card, the last card I did, I think it was the last one, and I had, not the last one, the one before that. And I had this piece left over because I used this as a frame. And I thought, I need to use this piece on a card. So that's how I got my inspiration. So I'll show y'all in just a minute what we're going to do with that piece. I'm getting some of my little crumbs off of there. And now we're gonna die cut our gold circle. And this is just going to be a focal point in our card. So as I cut all my pieces, I'm going to lay everything to the side. And this is what this piece looks like. Very pretty. So those are done. And then we have these little pieces, and this is cut from a piece of the paper, the Notes of, I think it's Notes of Nature. Nature's Sweetness is the name of the paper. And I'm going to lay these in like that. And we're going to give that a crank through. I have another piece of that the same size. And we're going to cut two more of those. So I'm going to lay that there. And let's get this one out. It wants to stay inside my die. Usually if you can get one of the little leaves up, everything else will come right up. So I'm going to lay these over here as well. And this is what that other one looks like. Pull that out. Isn't that pretty? So dainty and delicate. So I'm laying all of my pieces that I'm die cutting so we don't lose them. And I'm going to lay this one down. And let's go again. Now I could have used the smaller machine with these smaller pieces, but not with my larger ones or not with my embossing folder. So I chose to go ahead and just do everything on my big one. That's why I always reiterate that if you can only afford one die cut machine, try to get the larger one. It is more expensive, but you'll be able to do a whole lot more. You will not be limited. I think that would be the proper word. You will find yourself limited with the small one. Although I love my little one, it's great to have it on my desk. Doesn't take up very much room, but you do have limitations with it. Right, let's see if we can get this piece out. And again, I'm going to use my fingernail and see if I can get up underneath. And also use my take your pick tool. But that one came out, and we got those beautiful gold and white pieces of foliage. All right, the next thing that I want to do is I need to emboss this piece. This is the piece that's going to go right here on our card. And I really want that one to be embossed. And I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use the Tamor type. You could use the exposed brick. I just like this one. I think it's very pretty. It gives a subtle detail in the back. This piece is 2.5 by 5 3/8. We are using some 8s on this one, but don't be intimidated by 8s. They're just half a fourth. So if you get your fourth and you go halfway between, that will definitely give you your 8s. So I'm going to lay this down on my number 1 plate. And because this is a through the embossing folder, I'm going to grab that number 4 plate out and lay it on top. And we are going to crank this through. Just like that. And we have that piece embossed. Isn't that gorgeous? It just gives it an old feel, and that was what I was looking for in that Shabby Chic. And I believe, well, we do need to die cut our leaves, and I already colored some of these. Let's grab our cut plates again. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one right here. So let's grab the die. It's this die right here. So I'm going to lay that down over adhere it so it doesn't move. And let's go ahead and put this through. Now we need to do our little flower, and I had cut out one of those. I'm going to go ahead and put this one down and cut it out. So we're going to need this die. And I'm going to hold this over here where I can see what I'm doing because I really want to get that lined up nice and straight. Yeah, we'll put that over that. And now we'll crank this back through. Not a die cutting because there's so many little intricate pieces on this. Now I still need to color this. Normally I color first, but since I already started die cutting, I thought we'll just do all of our dies and then we'll come back and finish up everything. So that is everything. I hope it is. So we'll put our plates up in our die cut machine and then we're ready to go ahead and start assembling our card. Remember the little piece that I cut from the Everyday Details, this piece? We are going to do a little bit of trimming on this. And when I say trimming, I want to cut the top part of the holes off this side and this side so it looks like this was torn out of a notebook. Okay? So that's what I was thinking when I had this piece left over. So I'm lining it up just so the holes are over on the the right hand side. And I'm just going to cut that off just like that. And you know, you could keep these and use them for something else, but if you don't see a need, just toss it. And then I'm going to lay this one down right here. And I'm slicing through the same thing, just getting off the holes that are showing. Then we're going to turn it around and do the top. And this gives us our little piece that we need. And we're going to do some stamping in this. So pulling out our stamp, the Notes of Nature, I'm going to grab my pecan pie ink pad. And this little looks like a ticket. We're going to stamp that right at the top of that, just like that. So I'm going to grab a block that will accommodate it. I'm going to ink that up. And then come right up here to the top. A stamp, something like that. And then I want to take this one. This one looks like almost like lines from a ledger. And I'm going to ink it up. And we're going to stamp it down about here. Kind of gives it that ledger type feel. So we got those two done. Then we have this little splatter stamp. And I'm going to come back with the pecan pie and I want to put just a few splatters like that, just to give it a little more of a worn look to it. So we still need to color our little flower. So I'm going to grab some wild wheat and mossy meadows. So wild wheat. And I think I'm going to do the light wild wheat and the light mossy meadow. And all I want to do is just put down a little bit of color in the middle of my flower. Now this is going to be a little tedious to do because I am coloring on a very small piece of paper. And there is our coloring on that. Now we need, let's go ahead and start assembling our card. So the first thing I want to do, I have another piece of this piece here is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2, and we're going to use this to put our ticket on. So it's going to give it a little bit of a background, but I'm going to put it on at an angle. So I'm going to take some glue and just put on the back of that. Then I want to set it down so that it's askew, like that. But we're going to use the straight line here to put this on after we put our mats on. So I have 3 mats. I have the larger one that goes right here, and this one is 1 3/8 by 5 3/8. And then I have 2 of the strips. There's my other one right here. And these are 3/8 by 5 3/8. And they're going to go on the side of your card here and then over on this side. So let's go ahead and adhere these. All right, so that is on. Make sure you give it a good varnish so that that glue adheres really nice. And now we're ready to put this little ditty down. And I want to put this about maybe about a 1/2 inch here. So I'm going to hold this like that. And I know that from here down is where I want my glue. So I'm just going to take circles of glue and put them down like that. She is just sawing logs over there. I hope it's not disturbing to anyone. Okay, so now that we have that piece, we also have our piece that we had embossed, and that's going to go under here. Just simply glue it down. So again, I'm going to use my liquid glue. And we're going to lay this in about like that. Get it pressed in. And then we are going to grab our circle, and that is going to be an accent that's going to come all the way out to this edge, but we're going to glue it flat down. So I'm going to put some glue on the back of this, and I'm going to lay this down right there and give it a press. Now back to our little ditties. Let's see, where else are they? Here we go. It's stuck on the back of my stamp set. So we've got our flower and we've got our leaves. What I want to do is I want to lay these down like I want them to flow from underneath my card. So I want those there. And I think I'm going to do this out that way and this way. And we're going to do the leaves like this. And then we're going to put this right here in the middle. So it's going to look like that when we're done. And we'll still have a place because I have a piece of my pecan pie that we're going to stamp on. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of this glued down like I want it. I'm going to put that over there, this right here. And the first thing I want to do is I want to lay these stems and leaves down. So I'm just going to put some glue right here on the back of that, like so. And do the same thing with this one. And I'm going to put glue on the back of this one. It didn't take a little bit because these are very tiny pieces. That's going to go right there. And then this one, I'm basically just kind of doing a four-corner layout with these leaves and foliage like that. And I'm going to bring this down like so. And I think I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. So got a couple of dimensionals on the back. Stick that down, and then we have our little flower that we're going to put right there. And I think for that, I'm just going to glue it right to the end of that stem. So it looks like that. Now we're going to take our Versamark ink and I'm going to grab that stamp. I'm thinking I might do the hello. Let's see. That will change it up just a little bit, and I think it will work. So I'm going to stamp hello right here. I'm using the Versamark Onyx Black. I like this for my sentiments. It is not a Stampin' Up product, but you can pick this up if you're interested in this type of ink. It is a pigment ink in my craft room faves. So now I'm going to use my stylish shape dies. Let's see if this will fit, and it will. So I'm going to tape that down, and we are going to run this through our little machine. I have my number 1 and then 2 number 2 plates. So I'm going to lay that in like that, like that, and stagger my plate and bring it through. There's my hello. Isn't that cute? And then that way this card can be used for any occasion. And you might be saying, well, where will you put your sentiment or your message? And you could put that anywhere. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to stick that right there. I like it like that. So I'm going to put glue on this side. I'm going to tuck that right in here. Give it across. We have this panel on the back, this entire area, so you could cut a decorative rectangle or just cut a card base that's 5.25 by 4 and put that back there and you could write your message. This is our card. I love the way it turned out. There was the first one I did, and there's the second. Even though I have both of these cards and they're beautiful, I also wanted to show you an alternative if you wanted to do the same card in some different colors. So I just wanted you to see. This one I used the Flight and Airy Designer Series paper, boho blue. I used the Stipple Rose stamp set and I colored my rose and die cut it using Petal Pink, Flirty Flamingo, and Granny Apple Green. And I just put a sending thanks on this one. And it's same with that. You could put a note on the back of this very easily. So that's why I wanted to show you the difference in the two cards. So with all that being said, this is what we have with these. I think I'm going to take this one out of the equation and then show you both of these. Turned out, I'm going to just showcase the one we did here today. And I think it's a lovely card. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. Isn't that pretty? I love the gold on it. I think it is very shabby chic. And again, like I said, it folds flat like this to go into an envelope, but when the recipient gets it, it can pop right back up. It can sit for a display card. I think it turned out beautiful. Let me know in the comments what you think. And also, if you are interested in purchasing any of the supplies that you saw me use today, I'd be more than glad to help you with your order. Just reach out to me. Everything that I use except that VersaFine ink was a Stampin' Up product, and you can pick up all of that on my website at Random Acts of Stamping. .stampinup.com. The link will be below the video, along with the PDF tutorial that has all the measurements and everything that I used. So God bless and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Lord and Savior Jesus. He is worthy. So until next time, God bless and keep you. Bye-bye.